Classic and Cadence South Tunes. 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
Set your timers. Anthony SanFillipo joins us at the bottom of the hour. We'll catch up on the Phillies and their recent tear. And also we'll look ahead to, we'll get him a question in there on the Flyers and that draft pick. Get some clarification on that. Andrew Checo joins us at 8 o'clock, around an hour from now. So we'll have some information on there. All the things you need to know with that, including we're going to play a little game with everybody in the crew.
Ooh, I like that.
I like games.
Because the NFL Network is coming out with the Players Elected edition of the NFL's Top 100. We're going to do this in the 9 o'clock hour. Last year, the Eagles were represented by 8 players in the NFL's Top 100 list as elected by NFL players. The Eagles had 8 of the top 69 players in the NFL last year.
I would say that number's going to go down.
And we're going to look at how many of the Eagles players that were represented last year. One of them gone, A.J. Brown. We're going to look at how many of those players will go down, and we're going to try to predict how far they will drop down.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. It was not a great year for a lot of guys, at least when you look at numbers-wise, how much of that was Kevin Patullo when you talk about the offensive players. It'll be interesting. I'm excited for that.
And do they have anybody else that will join the list? And with DeCecco here, he'll probably get the numbers like right on the number.
Probably, yeah.
We'll write down his predictions, and he'll probably have it exactly correct later. So don't miss a minute of it, and thanks for hanging out with us this morning. So the Phillies win another series, which is great. It continues to be, and to me, it's weird and this is a very fair comment from Steve. One of our listeners, Steve, and we appreciate Steve, listens. And Steve goes, John, I may be just hypersensitive to this as a listener, but I really bought into your mentality, and I've actually followed it now for 3 baseball seasons of not following the standings until Memorial Day. But it seems now you've become hyper-focused on the standings, and it's only like 2 weeks later. I don't think that's unfair. I said, Steve, I don't think that's unfair of you, but I just want to know you're firmly in playoff position before the trade deadline, because I really am sort of obsessed on wondering what this organization is going to do.
Yeah, I mean, here's something that should put your mind at ease with that. What have we talked about with the deadline the past couple of years? There's 2 contributing factors to why you haven't been able to make as big of a splash at the deadline. One is that the Major League Baseball trade deadline is way too early in the season. They need to move it back. They won't. But again, this year, it's way too early. So it being that early restricts the number of teams that are selling. And the second part of that is the extended postseason, since they've added the extra wild card spot, keeps pretty much 75+% of teams in baseball in the mix at the point of the trade deadline, which, again, those points play off each other. It's why it needs to be moved back. But if you think that there's anything that's going to happen between now and when we get to the deadline that is going to make Dave Dombrowski and John Middleton, the brass of this Phillies organization, believe that they are not a postseason team and a team that needs to be aggressive, I'm going to tell you it's not happening, right? They're going to keep with the goal from the start of the season, which was we're competing for a championship.
Steve's a pharmacist.
Oh, smart guy.
Steve listens from 6:45 to 7:30 every day, he says.
Appreciate that.
On his commute. So Steve actually programmed this segment because he asked me to do a little exercise that he thought would put my mind at ease, and he said would get you to stop talking about the GD standings of the wild card every morning.
Steve, I'll tell you right now, if you're trying to get John Kincaid to stop talking about something, you got a long road ahead of you. But we appreciate the effort.
But, so here's what he asked me to do. He said, you go through this process on air with your team. And the question he says to ask is, will any of these teams beat out the Phillies over 162 record-wise?
All right.
So, Austin, I want your vote, too. The Rockies.
No.
The Giants.
No.
The Mets.
No.
You don't even think the Mets you could put a could?
Nope.
No.
That team stinks.
Yeah, no.
I'm going to put the Mets as a could.
They're using all their luck on the Knicks right now.
Okay, I'm going to put the Mets as a could. The Reds.
No.
You guys definitively go no?
Yep.
I'm going to say could. with that pitching,
That's too tight of a division. They're not going to win enough games.
They came in here and shut down the Phillies bats. They made the Phillies bats look like fools.
Yeah.
The Marlins,
no,
not over 162.
No.
The Cubs,
Yes.
could.
Yeah.
As a could, right?
Mm-hmm.
no.
Really?
They don't have enough pitching to sustain it. They're too volatile of a team.
The Nationals, no.
No.
I give a distinct no. The Diamondbacks, I say no.
Maybe.
See, I don't. Okay, so you give them a could.
Yes.
The Pirates,
No.
Okay, so those right now, it's the Cardinals, the Phillies, and the Padres are in the wild card position. So I just gave you the teams that are out, the 9 teams that are out of the playoff position. So I have, as the coulds, I give the Mets, the Reds, the Cubs. Mets, Reds, Cubs. Right now on June the 11th, I go Mets, Reds, Cubs as the teams that could.
The Mets are 9 games under, and they have not gotten anything. You could take the Mets out of there.
Okay, so you take
you
the
can
Mets
make an
out.
argument, I guess, for the Reds and the Cubs. The Mets are dead.
Okay, here's all I'm going to say to you right now is that, okay, the Mets are 7.5 behind the Phillies. They were further behind the Phillies on June 11th, the year they beat them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even though they didn't come back and catch them in the division, 7.5 is nothing. The Phillies had a double-digit lead on that team, and the Mets surged in the second half. So you write them off.
They're so dead. Like, I'm not even thinking about the New York Mets.
Wow. I don't. You're arrogant about it too. There,
Yeah,
Jones.
I'm with Connor. I just don't believe in the Mets. Like you just said, it's just the fact that they've been beat up across the board, whether it's been batting or pitching throughout the course of the season. And to be honest, I'm not going to put any faith in the Mets making anything serious.
And you just think that the Reds, it's too hard in the division, Connor? Was that your theory?
Yeah, the NL Central's tight.
It's a tight division when you go 9 games from when you have the 5 teams and 9 games separate them.
Like, don't make me regret this, Phillies. I'm telling you, I'm warning you right now because I'll be very upsetty spaghetti if this does not go the way that I want it to go. You're going to play the Mets, Marlins, and Nationals in the next week and a half. Watch what the Phillies do against the 3 bottom teams in this division and compare it to what you could possibly see the Reds do against the Cubs, Brewers, Pirates, teams that they've got to go up against. It's just not comparable.
So you're expecting it's going to be when the Phillies have coming up, the Phillies have before the All-Star break, the Phillies have 3 with the Marlins, 6 with the Mets, 4 with the Nationals.
Yeah.
And you're expecting that to be...
You're not just going to walk through it. That's not what I'm saying. But, you're going to consistently win those series. You're going to win ball games in those series. Like, if the Reds played the Pirates 6 times, they'd probably win 4 of them. I think the Phillies will win consistently against the bottom of the division, and that's the difference between them and those other teams.
Okay, so there you're at. That's where you're at. So, Steve, I hope you got and count the pills correctly. Count the pills correctly today. And we appreciate you listening every morning. It was very exact. I said that's very exact times that he says in the car that's when he listens.
You got to be exact. If you're a pharmacist, you got to have the numbers correct.
He's a young pharmacist too, 26 years old. Isn't that young?
Yeah.
For a pharmacist?
Hey, listen, more power to you, brother.
He's got a big IQ.
That's his. Give me his. Wait a minute now. Wait a minute. Okay, I'm not casting aspersions. Do you have to have a big degree to be a pharmacist?
I'm just saying he's very smart.
I don't know what the actual process is. You got to know some stuff. There's got to be a test somewhere at some point.
He listens
to us, so he's a smart guy.
That's what I told him. I said, you must be really smart if you listen to us every morning and everything. And he said, there is no other option for him. No other option except the days that Katie is in the car. And Katie is his fiance. And Katie demands that Kincaid and Salchunas not be on and he lets her.
Come on, Katie.
Man. Maddie leaves the radio on for us.
That's very
You
nice.
jump in the car, 97.5 The Fanatic's playing.
Well, Maddie's a darling. Katie may be a red flag. I'm just saying. She may be a red flag.
But what are you seeing for the Phillies under Don Mattingly? It's just been an insane level of. He's won 10 of his first 13 series as the manager of this team. 28-10.
I just see a team. I see a team that was sleepwalking. And now I see a team that is relentless. I see a team that was sleepwalking through the season.
Yeah.
And now I see a team that appears relentless.
That's all it is. They woke him up. They fired the manager. They said, get your bleep together. And they did. Well, listen, we saw it in 22. And guess what? Don Mattingly this year has had a better start to his Phillies tenure as interim manager than Rob Thompson did in 2022 when he took over for Joe Girardi.
And we know what happened there.
I believe they went to the World Series.
I believe they did. I believe they went to Game 6, and for some reason, Zach Wheeler, with no other games to pitch that season, was taken out of Game 6. I still will. I'll never. You know what? I'll never forgive him for it.
Let's hope Donnie Baseball does not repeat the mistake.
No, you know what? I am of the belief that 100 times out of 100, Don Mattingly would not have made that decision. That he would never take out Zach Wheeler.
Let's hope we get to a point where we can have that debate.
Wouldn't it be great?
Yes.
I'm going to call you and have that debate.
Sounds
I'll be
fine
like
to
if
me.
he ever pulls that. So check in with that one. All right, so that is where we're sitting, and thanks, Steve, for that. But Phillies, it's great. And now they play. Now they play the Miz tomorrow night.
Yes.
You know, they're doing you may be too young for it, but they're doing the Nobody Beats the Miz. Do you even know what that is?
Nope.
It's the old, if you ever saw Seinfeld, but it's the old New York ads.
Okay.
The Wiz used to be like, sort of like an electronics store.
Gotcha.
And it used to be Nobody Beats the Wiz, Nobody Beats the Wiz. It was the Wiz. And you'd go and you'd get your Walkmans, your boom boxes,
yeah,
your stereos and everything. And that was the thing. Well, it's Nobody Beats the Miz. And they actually play it in Milwaukee and everything like that.
Got to be awesome to watch if I'm a Phillies hitter.
And I don't care that they're up against it tomorrow night. That is must-see TV.
No, if I'm a Phillies hitter, I want him. And I want it bad because you got a guy in your locker room that should be the National League starter for the All-Star game, that if things continue should be the National League Cy Young. And here's your chance to go out for everything Christopher Sanchez did. He went scoreless for a month, and you lost one of those games because the offense was so cold. Guess what you owe him? Go get that ERA up a little bit for Jake.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
That's a great one. That's a good way to do that.
I'm feeling that way if I'm in that clubhouse. So we'll see what they got.
Can you hit that fastball, though?
I can't.
My gosh.
I can't.
All right, the Eagles, though, found some reclamation projects. So the Eagles were shopping at Big Lots or, maybe on Facebook Marketplace, and they found a few reclamation projects that they're hoping are going to pay off, Connor. And I don't know. This is, I guess... Are these training camp bodies, or are these guys that they actually think could come in here and play?
Yeah, A.J. Epidesa was signed yesterday by the Eagles. Now, earlier on in the offseason, he had a deal in place with another team, and the physical caused...
The Browns.
If you're having an issue with the physical with the Cleveland Browns, well, we got questions
The Browns don't want you.
No.
That's what I said. Like, the Browns don't want you.
And he's a guy that was serviceable in Buffalo for a couple of years there, right? We're not talking Jonathan Grenard. We're not talking I saw some people bring up Zach Bond when I saw this move come down. Like, oh, well, that was a guy you got off the street that Vic Fangio turned into a Defensive Player of the Year nominee. I don't think we should use the anomalies as the example. I don't think he's going to be Zach Bond. There's a much better chance that he's going to be Azeez Ojulari or Josh Uche, where you just don't really get anything out of him. But if he can make the team and give you a little bit more depth there, the Eagles are not all that deep when you look at the front seven. Nakobe Dean out, questions at the edge rusher position. Like, you have need there to have serviceable players you can go to in case of injury, and that's what the Birds are trying to find. I wonder, and we'll ask DeCecco about this when he gets in here at 8, I wonder if this is just a warm body as we get into the mandatory minicamp and prepare for training camp later on in the offseason, or if they actually believe they can get something out of a veteran guy.
Because we're not going to hear from the Eagles again until training camp.
No.
So at the beginning of training camp, we'll hear from the coach, we'll hear from the general manager. That's when we're going to find out. I love the fact, though, I don't understand why more teams don't do it.
Just take flyers on guys that have, especially guys that have had somewhat success at the NFL level.
With this coaching staff?
Yeah.
Like, to me, this is absolutely something that you do. And people are like, wow, the Eagles, I saw people saying that, the victory yesterday. Wow, boy, this is great. This is a next level move by Howie. We don't know yet. I like the approach, but we don't know anything about it being a next level move yet.
You're just taking a blind swing.
I love it, though.
But we've seen some blind swings go really, really well for the Philadelphia Eagles. You think Patrick Robinson back in 2017, 2018. You think Zach Bond back in 2024. Like every once in a while, you know what it is? You know, you always tell Andrew Salchunas, who normally sits in the seat, about the parlays, and that's how Vegas makes their money.
That's how they make the money.
Every once in a while, you do hit one. And maybe if you hit a big enough one, it covers up all the other swings you're taking on the bets that were never going to cash in. That's all these moves are. And I don't think you're going to hit a home run with Epinesa, but I know that this is a guy that has proven at some point he can play at this level, and there's no harm bringing him in.
Now we go, as we say that too, is going to go out in August to Vegas, and they'll always do the little class. They do a little class for you can go to, and it's like for the gamblers to give them little pointers. Stay away from the parlays.
Yep.
The number one thing that they laugh at you when you hand in your money and you try to get your ticket, if you went to the old ticket days at the counter, was teasers.
I don't even consider
the profit margin on teasers for casinos is huge. They make huge money on that. They make huge money on parlays. Straight bets is where they lose the most money, where the house loses. But the biggest money that they lose on is straight bets on over-unders. So if you can master the over-under, if you're good at that, people don't like betting over-unders as much. They like betting points.
I don't like betting unders.
They don't like betting
overs.
Well, over-unders.
Overs are fun. I like points.
Over-unders, though, a straight one team, one bet over-under is where they lose the most money.
Yeah.
So if you can master that, if you just study over-unders, you can make
that's how I get my lick back against the casinos.
See, this is how you're going to do it. Get that app downloaded and get after it. Let's check the poll results a little bit here from our friends Dr. Avidan Appel. How deserving do you believe Jalen Carter is of a huge contract extension? Dr. Avidan Appel says he believes he's probably worth it.
Yeah, so still leading the charge this time at 57% is cautiously optimistic. Second place at 38% is no-brainer, and very nervous in third at 5%.
Okay, it's a 19-point spread, though, on cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
Over no-brainer, and we all decidedly said no-brainer, pay it.
Oh, yeah.
That's not what our listeners are saying, though.
I'll say it again. I said it earlier. Philadelphia, you're overthinking this. If you're not in the no-brainer category, you are overthinking the Jalen Carter potential contract. This dude is an unbelievable talent. We're talking about, like, short of guys like Aaron Donald, because nobody's Aaron
exactly.
Donald. Hopefully
he's not coming back either, yes.
But short of these, like, lock Hall of Fame guys, this dude, you can project him out to be a superstar interior defensive lineman at a position where you don't see guys get pressure on the quarterback very often. He can stop the run. He can do everything. He's an incredibly talented player, and this is one of those too close to the situations to properly evaluate it, I think, for Philadelphia fans. You think about the late to the meeting. You think about the spitting on Dak Prescott. Vic Fangio saying he's not in the best shape.
Well, that's a lot. Honestly, that's a lot for a guy who wants to be the highest paid defensive player in Eagles history.
I get you, but the bottom line is you're not going to find another Jalen Carter.
I would still pay him.
Yes, absolutely.
But I still would be like, it's like, it's a lot to risk. What do we got in the text line there? Brought to you by our friends at Davis Honda. Feel the Davis difference at Davis Honda in Burlington.
Yeah, so this is Matt in Destin. He says, I agree that the talent of Jalen Carter is there, but he has to be more accountable. He won't grow as a player if he isn't held accountable for his professionalism as a superstar.
Wait a minute, is that Matt to Destin?
Destin, via Sicklerville, New Jersey.
He's in Destin, Florida. Have you two ever been?
I have, yes. Nice down there.
No.
What I would tell you is the beach, it's as if people took bags of sugar and just poured it on the beach there.
I got some white sand. I don't think I've seen that before.
Like the best. We used to stay at a place called Waterscape down there. If you're ever looking for a place to stay, Waterscape was awesome. Destin West was a nice little place we used to stay. Oh, my gosh. Just beautiful. Now, absolutely gorgeous.
The hold him to a professional standard, right? If you're going to pay him like a superstar. Guys, we need to trust some of the trustworthy people in this Eagles organization. Vic Fangio is holding these guys to a standard. I don't think Vic Fangio in Miami basically got run out of town because he was being too strong with those players to holding them to standards. Like, this is not going to be an issue where, you think Vic's letting Jalen Carter get away with stuff?
Oh, no. And the fact that he's called him out publicly tells you that.
Yeah, like, you don't have to worry about that stuff.
You don't have to worry about it, though?
No, not with Vic Fangio. That's why I'm saying, like, when he's not here, we might have a different conversation, but it's also why I trust the defense so much. He's not just skating by. And if you already think that he's not being held to a superstar standard, like, that is what this team views him as. It's why we're even having this conversation about a monster contract extension, because the organization, I guarantee you, has considered it. They built out for it. Part of the reason you waited to move A.J. Brown post-June 1st was so you could spread out the cap hit to pay guys like Jalen Carter. They're on it, all right? Now, whether he rises to that occasion is on him. But if your worry is they need to hold him to that standard, they're doing it.
My worry is he's not part of team activities during the summer.
Well,
that worries me.
Yeah. And well, that brings
I don't
us
like
to
that.
when it gets
the hold in. And if you missed the beginning of the show, yesterday Bill Colarulo said, non-story, clickbait. And I'm telling you, with all due respect to our friends at Unfiltered, false. It is a story. There's going to be a hold in. He's not doing a thing till he gets that contract. It's going to be a standoff. We'll see what happens. Anthony SanFillipo joins us next. He's going to discuss the Phillies' resurgence back into wild card position. And he'll give us a little information on that potential Flyers bad draft pick news out of Toronto. Kincaid and Salchunas continues here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Kincaid and Salchunas, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com. If you want to see their wonderful faces, check out youtube.com/975 The Fanatic Philadelphia. More of Kincaid and Salchunas coming your way now.
7 a.m. hours brought to you by the BetParks online casino and sportsbook app. Live bet sports on the BetParks app. Play all your favorite casino games. There's always another way to win on the BetParks online casino and sportsbook. Got to be 21 in Pennsylvania, Jersey, or Maryland. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Hopefully your Thursday morning is going well. It's June 11th, and it's Kincaid and Salchunas. Connor's in for Andrew. Andrew will be back on Monday, and we have Austin Jones in Connor's seat. Hitting all the right buttons.
Yeah, we're moving all over the place this week with Andrew off. He'll be back with us on Monday.
That's what you do. That is what you do. Okay, I need to know something, though, from our guest. Is Ant San available? We're getting Ant San up. Anthony SanFillipo, we're going to get him up here. I didn't realize this. He obviously from OnPattison, and but it says actor director too.
Oh, really? Well, a lot of folks who do like TV stuff will have their SAG card for the sake of something or other.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that either with him. He's a man of many talents. I mean, you could talk multiple teams with us and talk Flyers, Phillies. I mean, he covers everything. I'm not surprised. He's a very talented individual, which is why we're happy to have him when he joins us.
I am, but it says actor-director. I do not know that about his bio. I'm very cool with that. Is that I know that if I'm going to last August when I went out to Price is Right, I was supposed to go to Young and the Restless and be an extra. And as an extra, I didn't have to have a SAG card. But if I want to go out and have lines and have more than 3 lines, I think it is, I have to join SAG. You got to pay like $235.
Yeah.
But I'll do it.
I don't know. It's some racket that they do.
Yeah, but I'll do it to get an IMDb.
Your credit in there.
Anthony SanFillipo. Do you have an IMDb? I know you're very talented from OnPattison. I bump into you in press boxes.
It's interesting. The only time I've actually ever been in a film was for a documentary for your competitive radio station.
Okay.
And I was on the screen for that. Most of my acting and directing has come in the world of theater.
Really? I did not know that. Now you have the great voice for it. But what kind of roles?
I've done the most recent role that I acted in was a play called, I'm sure you've seen the movie Network, which came out in the 1970s. Last year I was in a play I was in the play version of Network. And I got to play Robert Duvall's role, which was incredible. A lot of fun because it was like a little bit outside my personality because all he did was F-bomb everybody on stage for the entire time, which was great, which is a lot of fun. So
I hear you do that at OnPattison.
A little bit, sometimes.
Yeah. Is that sometimes. That's good. Well, we appreciate you being here. I got to hear more about that. That is awesome. That is absolutely awesome. We really want to hear more about this Phillies run, though, that they're on. And it's really been a great turnaround. And the other day, we had the great Jim Salisbury on, and I was saying to him, look, there's been a huge turnaround since Rob Thompson left. And Jim is very insistent that, well, Rob was doing nothing wrong. He was doing nothing wrong. Well, obviously, it means that the manager's doing something right now. So what's changed? Seriously, what's changed? There's something that changed.
So there are subtle changes. Nothing that I think is indicative of switching from 9-19 to 25-11, right? But at the same time, it's maybe that the way that the message is being delivered, it's pretty much the same message. It's just being delivered slightly differently. And I think when it comes from a guy with the track record that Don Mattingly has, I think that is the difference, right? It's one thing, athletes are weird that way. They are willing to hear you. If two different people tell them the same message, one of them did not play at their level, one of them did, they're more likely to listen to the one that did versus the one that didn't. It's like that in all sports. And that seems to be the difference here. Like I said, there are some subtle differences about, how they're all doing a lot more infield work. The PFPs are more frequent. As a matter of fact, they were scheduled to do PFPs the day Rob was fired that Rob had scheduled. So it's not like it wasn't something on Rob's list, but it's happening with more frequency. I think that the communication from player to manager is a little bit more direct as opposed to maybe Rob was a little bit more flowery about it. He tried to be such a good guy, such a team guy, that he would couch things a little bit differently, whereas I think Donnie's more direct with the players. So I think it's subtle things like that. And then they just finally oh, by the way, Zach Wheeler came back and they started to get great starting pitching, and lo and behold, that helped too. So I think those were the big differences.
The offense waking up helps too. Now, I'll ask you, who is the real Phillies offense? We saw it in this series. They swing and miss at 29 out of 50 swings on Dylan Cease in Game 2. And then yesterday, 7 runs, couple of home runs for guys. What do you make of this? How did they fix something? I need you to break it down.
This is the Phillies offense, right? It's hot and cold. Sometimes they're really, really good, and sometimes they make you want to rip your hair out. I mean, that's really what the Phillies are offensively. I'm not certain that the way they're winning games is ultimately sustainable. And I say that because I look at it, and every game, or almost every game, is super close. And they're forced to go to the bullpen, and the same guys at the back end. Duran pitched 3 straight days in this series against Toronto, and he got warm on Sunday against the White Sox. So in essence, that's 4 days in a row. The first time he blew a save. Not that it was a terrible outing. It was just, it happened in 8 pitches. But the reality is that it happened. And you're going to Keller and Alvarado and Kerkering, and it almost seems like it's every night. I worry that, you're expecting Sanchez and Wheeler and Luzardo to give you 6-7 innings every game. I just worry that that's going to come back and bite them at some point. And so that's why I think this is great. This is a great run. They got themselves back in. They're in playoff contention. They're probably a playoff team now at this point, which is awesome. But at some point, you're worrying about something's going to break down, and you don't have the depth behind it to kind of pick that back up. Because I think you're relying on your 7 best players right now to do everything for you, and nobody else is really contributing on a consistent basis.
It's June 11th, and I want you to look into your crystal ball a little bit. Let's say that it is August 11th.
Yeah.
Give me a player or two that is going well right now that you think it could be a bit of a mirage, and give me a couple players that you think are doing poorly right now that you think on August 11th you're going to go, wow, they rebounded nicely, and boy, things have really turned around.
Well, I mean, so do I think Brandon Marsh is a mirage? I don't, because he's been really good since May of last year. So there is a larger sample to look at and say it's not just right now. I do wonder if he can hold up at this pace, because Brandon Marsh doesn't scream 330 hitter to you, right? Like, I mean, I do think that there is some regression that's coming there. He's still going to be a very good player, I think. I just don't think he's a 330 hitter for the rest of the year. So I look at that guy and say, that's the one where I think it might come back a little bit. As far as the guys that I think could be a little bit better than they've been, first I look at Luzardo, and it's weird to say that coming off of his win last night, but he's very inconsistent. I think there's more consistency there than has been. And so I think Luzardo is a guy who you might see come August be putting together consistent start after consistent start after consistent start. And I think that's a good thing. And beyond that, though, I'm having a hard time coming up with a second, right?
Okay.
Like, I don't know. Does Bryson Stott figure it out in the second half like he did last year? He's done it before, so maybe. But I can't say that I think it's there right now. You know, Bohm's been better, but is he that guy or is he somewhere in between? I think he's kind of more somewhere in between. So I don't see it. And I'll tell you this, guys. I think, and it's weird that I'm going to say this, but I think that this injury to Adolis Garcia last night, depending on how severe it is, could hurt them more than you think. And it's weird to say that for a guy who's hitting at the Mendoza line, but they have no outfield depth at all. You got the Rojas news came out yesterday. He's done for the year. They have zero outfield depth. And his defense was so good, I don't know how you're replacing it. I just don't. So I think that there's some major concerns still.
So you led me right to my next question. We're talking to Anthony SanFillipo of OnPattison here on Kincaid and South Tunis. It seems like there are no internal options. Do you see the Phillies going out and signing somebody off the street? Will they elevate somebody? If there's an extended absence for Garcia, what would you expect the move to be?
Yeah, it's a great question. And it's because they don't have any depth. I mean, they already went out and signed a guy off the scrap heap in Dylan Carlson, right? And he hasn't done anything in AAA. So, like, it's probably not that guy. You know, are you calling up Gabriel Rincones after, what do you play, 11 games, 12 games? I mean, that's the one that makes the most sense to me, but he can't play against lefties. So he's only he's a one-sided platoon guy that you could probably give that a shot. I mean, you can always go Felix Reyes again, right? I mean, these are your options right now. And as far as going out and getting someone, I mean, I don't know who's out there on the scrap heap that you can bring in and cross your fingers and hope that they help. Maybe by the deadline you're looking at that, but then at that point we're talking the same question that John just asked, because the deadline's August 3rd. It's a couple days later this year. You're probably not getting that deal done until the very end of July at the earliest. So you got to get through another 6 weeks without this. I don't know how it happens. I really don't.
All right, we've got to ask you quickly about the Flyers and that draft pick. What's the deal with this as far as, is this really bad news? Because it sounds like bad news on the draft pick thing with Toronto. That they potentially Boston's going to get that draft pick?
Well, possibly. I actually talked to some people in the Flyers organization on Tuesday about this, and then it was funny because they were lamenting that they hadn't heard anything from the league, and then all of a sudden the league announces yesterday that this is what the deal is. So from way I understand it is, if that pick is 10 or later, it's going to be the Flyers, right? It's the Flyers pick if it's 10 or later next year. If it's in the late 10s, Toronto is probably going to give it to the Flyers, or like late, like 8, 9, 10. Toronto's probably going to give it to the Flyers because they don't want to give it to their division rival. If they had to choose between the two, it'd rather be somebody in another division. But if it's higher up, now all of a sudden it's a different question, right? Because now if you're like in the top 5, top 3, even top 2, like depending on the player, depending on how the teams look at that time, Toronto could basically screw the Flyers over and say, we're going to give it to Boston. Because maybe Boston's further away than the Flyers a year from now. Who knows, right? So at that point, Toronto can get strategic about it. I don't like it. I think it stinks. I think it smells. I think the league just they screwed up. Toronto screwed up. The league screwed up by allowing it to be this way. And they're basically just washing their hands of it, saying, Maple Leafs, you figure it out.
I wonder if the Flyers
I don't like it at all.
I wonder if the Flyers could end up sweetening the pot the Toronto could say, hey, throw in something and we'll give it to you.
You can. And see, that's the other thing. But, I mean, should that be allowed?
It's crooked. It's crooked.
It's crooked, right? I mean, it can happen, but I think it should not be allowed. The league should have stepped in a year ago when they traded the same pick twice, in essence, and said, yeah, Toronto, you need to come up with some more terminology here to fix this, and they never did. So the league's at fault.
All right, real quickly, your dream role, now that we know that you're an actor. The dream part you would love to play as an actor.
Well, so here's the thing, right? And this is the weird thing to say, because I love musical theater, but I cannot sing.
Well,
isn't that crazy?
That doesn't work.
I love it, but I can't say. So if I had to say, and I'll give one that's a little bit more mainstream, I would say Javert from Les Miserables.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
but I can't sing it. I love the role. Yeah. I love the part.
I don't think you're getting the role then.
Well, your next role might be Phillies right fielder if they don't figure something out quickly.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it, guys. Take it out on Pattison. Anthony SanFillipo, he is awesome. He's very multidimensional, and he's an actor and a director, too. Hey, the stories we haven't had time to get to this morning are coming up. Headlines with Austin Jones as Kincaid and Saltunis continues on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Kincaid and Saltunis, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com. Andrew, John, Connor, Kincaid and Saltunis, Philly Sports Talk, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
Lots going on this morning. I want to make sure we have time for it, so let's get to today's headlines with our man, Austin Jones.
Today's headlines with Austin Jones.
Alrighty, and today's headlines is brought to you by Lundy Law. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. If you need them, remember the name Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Visit LundyLaw.com. That's LundyLaw.com. Alrighty, gentlemen, it's been the news of the day. The NBA Finals. New York Knicks come back down 29 points somehow, some way. It's now a 3-1 series lead. That's fine and dandy. Now, they love to have their celebrities out and about for their games. And people always wonder, are they paying for those tickets? So Front Office Sports dropped the intel we all want to know on how all of these celebrities go to Knicks games.
First off, there's a difference between uppercase celebrity row and lowercase celebrity row. Lowercase celebrity row is basically the broader courtside area where you'll see dozens of athletes, actors, singers sitting in the most expensive camera-friendly seats. But uppercase celebrity row is the ultra-exclusive section of 6 to 8 front row seats reserved for the biggest names in the building. We're talking Spike Lee, Timothée Chalamet, Ben Stiller, Tracy Morgan, a combined net worth of over $300 million sitting in just those 4 seats alone. Now, there's no set criteria for who sits in these seats. According to former Knicks executives and people familiar with the process, it really comes down to how famous you are, your relationship with MSG, and how big that Knicks game is. So for a playoff game like tonight, where the Knicks are on one of their strongest runs in decades, those seats become even more competitive. Now, some celebrities like Spike Lee reportedly buy their own courtside tickets, while others are personally invited by MSG because they're considered part of the entertainment. But here's the part people don't realize. If MSG is giving you free courtside tickets, there are unwritten expectations that come with it. Show up camera ready, appear on the Jumbotron, maybe film some promo content and support events, but most importantly, act like you genuinely want to be there. If celebrities don't play along, the perks can disappear. For example, supermodels Emily Ratajkowski and Irina Shayk left their free courtside seats early during a Knicks comeback, and later, when Ratajkowski asked for free Rangers tickets, MSG reportedly turned her down.
And yes, that's what they do. I was texting with someone in the second-tier celebrity seats last night.
Yeah.
Our old neighbor, Kelly Giddish, who is one of the stars of Law & Order SVU, she was in the second-tier seats where Mariska Hargitay, who is a longtime Knicks fan, she's in the A-list section, and Kelly was next to Penn Badgley from You and Gossip Girl and everything.
I'm familiar.
And The Young and the Restless. He got his start in The Young and the Restless. So she was in the B-list celebrity section.
Yeah.
But I'll take it.
Listen.
I take it so much.
That's a small price to pay. Doing like promos and stuff like that, acting like you want to be there. The bar's on the floor. For real Knicks fans who are celebrities that can get in there, that are a level of like Spike Lee or Chalamet, like, yeah, that's a fair ask. Act like you want to be at the biggest sporting event in the world that night and we'll give you tickets. It must be nice.
I saw another video as well. The top of the top, or one of the two celebrity rows. I forget which one. They also have access to the owner's suite as well.
Oh yeah, they can go get the free drinks, or the free drinks and everything like that are underneath and everything, so you can get all boozed up and everything that you want to.
Alrighty, next story, gentlemen. Still with basketball, Charles Barkley. We heard his comments about Miss Cardi B the other day. He was on the Dan Patrick Show, and he just said he doesn't care.
When's the last time management or somebody said, Chuck, can't say that?
Dan, I'm hoping they fire me. I got 6 or 7 years left on my contract that they know I got no chance of doing. I would love for them to fire me and have to pay me for the next 6 or 7 years. And there's zero chance I'm going to be working the next 6, 7 years. Zero. So I know if they fire me, they would have to pay me all those years. Come on, man. People can't take a joke. They can kiss my ass. I said the same thing. If people don't like me, I appreciate and love all the support I've gotten all these years, but anybody think everybody likes them, they're a fool. So if people don't like me or don't have a sense of humor, they can kiss my ass, and my whole ass, not just one cheek, the whole ass.
For all of you old heads that are upset about the way the NBA is currently going with the load management and the tanking, that's proof right there. That's Charles Barkley tanking live on the Dan Patrick Show. He's tanking the contracts. They have fired me. No, obviously being tongue-in-cheek there, but
no. He really would love to be sent to a golf course, believe me.
That's the best job in the world, get fired from a high-profile sports job. Like a coach that has 2 years left on their deal where you're saying, yeah, no thank you. Like, yeah, cool, pay me.
Yeah, and the thing about Charles, too, is can ESPN really afford to fire him? Because he's part of the reason why everybody tunes into the pregame coverage and everything else about the NBA.
They have the current numbers now. Richard Deitch, 4.23 as many people to 1 are watching the pregame coverage on ESPN, the stuff that is going on that used to be watching before the TNT crew came over.
Wow.
So they have like almost 4.25 people more to 1.
Yeah, that's the best pregame in sports.
It's unbelievable.
It is. And Charles Barkley, a friend of the station. You can hear him on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Yes, sir. Last one for us here, gentlemen. Connor, you played beer league softball and, pick up baseball, I guess. And John, I'm going to say you've been there and done that too. So up in Canada, there was a softball team that was on the skid. They were losing games left and right. So they reached out to reinforcements. They DM'd Josh Donaldson because they are a Canadian team. They are in Ontario. They are called the Brew Jays. They're winless, so they hit up Josh Donaldson. They said, hey, man, we need your help. Can you come on out? So he proceeded to pull up full uniform, and he batted in the lineup, crushes a home run. The team still lost 12-9, but it was a fun story that he just popped out and he played for the Brew crew there. So I'm asking you, Connor and John, you're playing beer league softball or baseball. What former Philly would you like to be added to your roster for one game to help you get your first win of the season?
Give me Ryan Howard.
Ryan Howard would be awesome.
Give me Ryan Howard.
He's so slimmed down now, though.
That dude can still hit the ball.
Last time I saw Ryan Howard, I thought I said to him, I said, you look like you're half yourself. I mean, he looks like half himself.
Yeah, guys get done. They don't have to keep the weight on, but he can still hit a baseball.
No, he looks fantastic.
It would be Schwarber if he wasn't currently playing for the team. I don't want to take him away from his responsibilities because they needed him last night. But I'd probably go the big piece.
I think it'd be great. I would just love it to be Jimmy Rollins because I would just love to ever be on the same field one time with one of my favorite players I've ever watched in any sport, and that's Jimmy Rollins.
Give me Jim Thome since you took the other big power bat.
There
you go.
He always looked like a beer league player.
Man, he did.
Matt Stairs would be a good pick as well.
I would just watch Jimmy Rollins. First of all, he'd hit home runs in beer league softball, but he would also hit gappers that, the guys could never catch. It'd be awesome. Great stuff. Good job there, Austin. Hey, we got a lot coming up. There's only halfway through, and that means that Andrew Duchecka will be joining the show coming up. He has loads of insights on what he observed at the Eagles mandatory minicamp. He'll download that notebook for you at 8:30, but we're going to get his comments on the Jalen Carter story, the Jalen Hurts extension, and more, all coming up. So hang out with us. Second half of Kincaid and Salchunas comes your way next here on The Fanatic.